Monster girls, action, ninjas, everything in between, but a failed spin-off. Let's review it and talk about it. 3 things you should know about Toga Ita. Second-year high school student and the heir to the Toga-style ninjutsu dojo. First, he really loves video games. Second, when given a chance between heroics and saving his own skin, he always chooses the latter. Third, he never so much kissed a girl. All this changes when a voluptuous girl with wings and taloned feet named Arrow appears and calls on Ita to help save her people, the Harpies of Reverse, from the merciless onslaught of giant robots known as Gigas. Ita will follow his newly found Harpy friend into a whole new world filled with monster girls and fantastical creatures beyond the wildest dreams. So it starts with our boy here, Ita, there he is. Him and his friends are just sitting on top of the school playing their video games when this guy, there's like this punk, like delinquent, shows up with these girls, starts causing a bunch of troubles. Well, Ita tries to get away, and during the scuffle, he ends up kicking this guy right in the mouth, sending him flying, shocking everyone. And that's when his friends are like, "You still need to teach us this stuff," blah, blah, blah. It starts going on. He doesn't want any of it. He just wants to be a pacifist, play his video games. So after that scuffle at school, Ita's tired. He wants to go home. He wants to relax. Well, he gets home. As soon as he enters the dojo, his grandfather starts going at him. Starts going right into ninja training, shooting all these things at him, making these things appear, testing Ita's skills to make sure he's still on edge, ready to go, ready to fight. Well, during all this mysterious hooded figure with some wings out of her ear were watching Ita. She was watching him at the school, saw that thing happen with the punk, and she dove right in and surprised him, I guess that's the best way to put it, at the dojo. Well, at the dojo, she reveals that, she's Harpy, and his brother basically said, Ita will come and help you rescue your people. At the same time, one of the Gigases from this other world came out of nowhere and started fighting. Well, during that time, Ita showed his skills, showed that he could fight it and take care of it because it was attacking his land, and more so in his video games and his property that he wants to keep on playing. So after this big battle he has with the Gigas in the real world, Arrow's like, "All right, you proved yourself. Let's get you to my world." He goes, "What?" Next thing you know, they go through this hole, through this dimensional rift. Still don't know what this thing is. And he appears in Reverse. He's flying in the air, carried by Arrow, and he's blown by this beautiful scene, which is actually really drawn beautifully, going into this world. Well, fast forward an hour or two later, he is still freaking out, doesn't believe he's in any other world, and he still can't accept the fact that these people are real. Well, as he gets out and sees the community and they're all like, "This is some ninja," he's letting his experience, letting himself be exposed. He realized this is reality now. And he basically keeps saying, "I can't save your people. I'm not strong enough. I can't do it." Meanwhile, his brother was there before him. Well, at least this person he calls his brother was randomly showing up. He came to this world, and apparently it's been a thing for a while. People have been coming to this world and bringing technology, and as they do, they help society advance, and they keep advancing more and more to be more like, our world. So there's a mixture of swords, arrows, all this stuff. Meanwhile, they have cell phones and VHS and all this other things. It's pretty interesting concept. So from there, after a big scuffle between him and other Harpies in the area, they call on him to help, and he keeps saying he can't do anything. They said, "Fine, we'll do it ourselves. We will defend these people and protect all the innocent children and elders that can't fly anymore because you won't do it." And he starts second guessing, wanting to maybe help and all this stuff. Then Arrow traps and gets rid of him, air quote, put behind this gate and says, "Look, you need to be free. Go be yourself. Get out of here. I'm staying." To which Arrow runs off, and they get ready for a second fight with this giant Gigas that popped out of nowhere. Well, as Ita ran off, fell through a tree, started reconsidering. He's like, "I kind of want to help now. I feel bad. The guilt's getting to me." Comes across this big bird that eats rocks as well as metal. That's where he gets his idea. Why not get a bunch of them and we go fight? Use these birds to fight and eat the giant robot. So he comes back with these, surprising everyone. He actually isn't a spineless little coward. He actually has some, oomph to him. To which they get in this giant battle. They lead this charge with these Harpies. And as we're going through this, by the way, each of the Harpies have their own personality. You can see it drawn, you can see them acted out, given their speech patterns, all that different thing going on in this manga. It was very well put together. Just like Monster Musume, how every character has their own personality trait. Everyone stands out. So the battle starts. They fight this giant Gigas. They're using the rock birds to attack the feet while the Harpies are trying to take on the head. They realize it's not working. That's when Ita finally gets a hang of it. He gets into it and starts. Basically, he wins. I'm going to keep the battle, the summary of the battle short. It's really worth the read. Within the first volume of the 7 that came out, which we'll get into, they did a very good job putting this big action-packed starter battle, essentially, as a turning point for this chapter and for him to lead out to this world in reverse. Did a fantastic job. He ends up almost dying because there was a spike, like spear or something, like right by his head. He ends up surviving when everyone thought he died. So from there, they basically said, well, Ita, the rest of the universe, world, whatever you call it, needs you. Why don't you go into the next area? We can show you how. So Arrow joins them and another harpy joins them, which they go off to find the Minotaur blacksmith to help make him a better weapon that isn't wood or fake, like, crappy steel. That's how it ends. This art was fantastic. It basically followed the guy of Monster Musume. He created the story, he wrote the art, or he wrote the story, created the art, and it was beautiful. The story is well done, the art's fantastic, everything was great. It was just like Monster Musume in the sense that the monster girls were really well done. Some were voluptuous, some were flat. They each all had their personalities, needless to say. He portrayed that very, very well, which is why I like Monster Musume. Yes, there's fan service and stuff, but he does a really good job actually writing a good story and incorporating the characters and basically making them good. And it's hard to find nowadays, especially when it comes to like monster girls and stuff. A lot of people just make it fan servicing and call it a day and don't give them actual meat to the bone or give them actual personality. And it's a nice change of pace. Now I want to go look at the Wikipedia and take a look at one of the reasons that it could have ended and the reason why he stopped at volume 7. He was on to something and they were doing very good, but they just stopped at 7 and called it a day and got back to working solely on Monster Musume. So as we go through the Wikipedia, basically does the story like in summary, like I told you, and it's spoiler territory for characters. But right here, the reception and the release, it says right here, it goes up to volume 7. On Anime News Network, Becca Silverman gave the volume 1 overall C. I'll get generic and a textbook, which to comparative to what they were coming out at the time, I kind of get what they're coming from. But if you're not a Monster Girl fan or a fan of the artist, I kind of see where they're coming from with that. We found the art interesting and the characters distinctive, comparing the series to the Monster Musume characters. Then people started comparing it and blah, 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 blah. So it was on the best New York Times manga bestseller for volume 2 and 3 for a little while. And then it just kind of died off. He just ended it. It was compiled into a 7-volume like book before being canceled. And then, you know, they picked up, 7Cs picked up the volumes and stuff and released them starting in 2014. And then the last volume, volume 7, ended in 2019, which was what, 3-4 years ago? 5? Oh, good Lord, 5 years ago. This book's been around, so is Monster Musume. I like it. I am Monster Girl trash, and that's kind of apparent if you've been around long enough. I really like the story, what it went for. The 7 volumes were very interesting, and I feel like it should be worth you at least giving it a chance, or at least looking it up online to read on the manga sites that aren't. Anyway, I would recommend picking up 12 Beast. Overall, ranking-wise, I'd probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10. It's nothing like mind-blowing. It's a good, like, haha shonen comedy, you know, isekai, whatever you want to call it around those terms. I just think it's a good, you know, mindless read. And considering I'm a Monster Girl trash guy and I'm a Monster Musume fan, it's perfect for me, and it's going to stay in my my archives, and it's already part of the library. I got all 7 volumes, so let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you think 12 Beasts is up your alley. Let me know if Monster Girls are even in your alley or repertoire of things you like. Love you all, appreciate you all, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.